It's all you, Ron.
It says schedule is nothing going.
No, it's live.
Okay. Mine doesn't have a clock. So sorry about that, people. Hey, it's Ron Johnson, and this is Ron Johnson. This is Locked On Sports Minnesota, and it's Friday, and it's the Roundtable. I'm Ron Johnson, your host. We got Reggie Wilson joining us from Care 11. We got Julia Daniels. We got Sam Ekstrom as well, the producer who's back. We know we didn't have Sam last time because, Sam was traveling the world, but there's so much going on in sports today. The Vikings finally get to play football. I saw a little bit of the Giants-Lions. We see fights in training camp where we're seeing basketball now. The Olympic team almost lost to Serbia. But with so much going on in sports, we got to get locked in on our topics. People, thank you guys for joining us who are watching on YouTube. We greatly appreciate your support. Please make sure you continue to like, share, download, and tell a friend that we're here because football is back. So now our topics are going to pick up. We're going to talk about all the guys with roster spots, and they're at 90 players as they dwindle down and bring guys in. We're going to keep giving you guys updates on this roster and finally figure out, can the Minnesota Vikings really do something this season, no matter who's the quarterback? We'll talk about that much more coming up, but we got to get locked in on these topics. So, Reggie, what you got for us?
Man, USA basketball gave me much more anxiety than I needed on a Thursday afternoon. But going to the gold medal game, going for 5 straight golds. We're talking about it.
And we've been at training camp as well. And what have we observed so far that gives us any inkling of where the Vikings will stand towards the end of the season?
And beyond, Ant versus Rudy for the gold. Olympics have been awesome this week. We've got a full Olympic breakdown of what we've been watching, what we've been loving on Care 11 in the Olympics.
And the Vikings are about to play the Raiders. Devontae Adams probably doesn't play, but we're going to see Minshew Mania. Aiden O'Connell. Can Brian Flores really flush with this Raiders defense or offense? And can this Vikings offense move through this Raiders defense? Because we know they're a whole new team now. They're the new look. They have their true head coach now. Can the Vikings come out in the first game and look somewhat formidable against the not so good LA Raiders or Vegas Raiders, whatever you want to call them now? But I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code Locked On. That's LOCKEDON. The code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. And make sure you know terms apply. And again, super easy. I know last night I already got a message about preseason Vikings Raiders tickets on the Game Time app, people. So it says tickets are lower than ever. So make sure you guys download the app because it will give you updates as well whenever there's a price drop, whenever there's a great ticket price out there. So again, I saw it yesterday. My Game Time app sent across my little ticker said, hey, Vikings Raiders, tickets are cheap. Make sure you get there. So I'll be there. Hope to see you guys there. But with no further ado, I'm going to kick the show off. Well, Vikings Raiders. Here's my thoughts on this. When you look at what's going on with this team, the top players to watch. So I did get some intel that some of these starters, a lot of these starters for the Vikings are going to play. Why? Because one of the coaches I was talking to, old school mentality, he said that when you think about how it used to be, the 4 games, he said game 1 was always a little bit of the starters, maybe one series, and they're out. Game 2, you got more of the starters, and then maybe a half, and then they were done. Maybe a third quarter if you weren't like truly decided on what you're going to do with the team. And then you move on in game 3, you don't see any of them. Game 4, you really don't see any of them unless they have not proven they deserve to be on this team. He said now with 3 in 17 games, he said we got to treat game 1 like game 2. So we got to get these guys in here for a half. He said a lot of the guys that we want to see, the guys that we want to make sure they're working well together, a half. He said the guys that are like Harrison Smith type guys, all right, we maybe just a quick in and out, you're done. He said the Browns week is going to give them a lot. So when I'm looking at this game, the guys that I'm really interested in seeing right now is Jalen Naylor. I think Jalen Naylor has to prove. Now, we know he's good. We think he's wide receiver 3. But how does he work within a game system of guys actually trying to hit him? Because a lot of these big throws we've been seeing in practice, quote unquote, stay off of my guys. But these guys aren't going to have that in this game. These guys are going to try to knock your head off. So I'm really watching Jalen Naylor. I'm watching Brandon Powell. I want to see how those two interact. And then N'Keal Harry. That's my dark horse tight end. I've been talking about him. I really want to see N'Keal Harry. So those are my three guys, mainly offensive weapons. But N'Keal Harry, can you get that tight end 4 spot and become a weapon within Kevin O'Connell's offense? I don't know. What do you think, Reggie?
This is uncharted territory for Kevin O'Connell being the head coach of the Vikings. We have not, since he's been the head coach, seen the starters play in the preseason. His first year, we were like, I think that's why week 1 was so intriguing, because we were like, we don't know what this team is going to look like. And they came out against the Packers and dominated, and the offense looked all world. And it was like, whoa, this Kevin O'Connell dude is cooking. And then last year, same thing. Didn't really know what to expect until they went up against the Buccaneers. And Kevin O'Connell talked a lot about how, they really get their intel when they go against other teams during the week in training camp. When they're facing off against teams, but not necessarily the game. And so it's tough to really, glean much of anything, because you're like, okay, what exactly is this team going to look like? And this is going to be different. Like, Kevin O'Connell said, like, hey, we're going to see the ones. I'll play it by feel, and we're going to get a good portion of the guys in there. And we haven't really seen that, but I think this team is different. It's in a different situation. You got flux a little bit at quarterback, who's going to be the starter in week 1. And you just kind of have some pieces all over the field on both sides of the ball that I think really need to get some game action in before they get to week 1. Now, will we see them after week 1 of this preseason? Not really sure. I guess that remains to be seen. But some of the guys that I think, fringe guys, obviously I want to see what J.J. McCarthy looks like. This will be his first game action. Julia was at camp on Wednesday when McCarthy spoke, and he was like, I'm looking forward to seeing a vanilla defense, because it's been so tough for him with Flo going against him every day in practice. And, he had his struggles on Wednesday. But then I also want to see guys like Lewis Seen. I want to see what exactly he has. Like, I think this is like his chance to try to stick with the roster. It hasn't been the career to start that he's wanted to have, and I'm sure not the start that the Vikings had for him when they took him in the first round a couple of years ago. I want to see, what he's going to show. I want to see what someone like Brian Asamoah is going to show as well. I think, Ivan Pace kind of came in and just kind of manhandled a spot from him on the starting defense, kind of relegated him to some special teams play. I want to see, what he has and what he's trying to do to kind of build his spot on that defense. So still a lot of intrigue, and I think much more intrigue than we have been used to seeing from the Vikings in the preseason under Kevin O'Connell.
Julia.
I mean, I think the obvious, right, is, what does Sam Darnold look like, and then how they transition into J.J. McCarthy and how he performs. Another one that I'm interested to see, obviously, like Ron said, the tight end spot is, up for grabs a little bit with TJ still out. Johnny Munt has been kind of like a surprisingly aggressive player that we have seen in training camp so far. I think I talked about it last week on the podcast where he almost got in a fight with Brian Asamoah during practice. And then I guess yesterday when they were doing their 7-on-7 or whatever, he just ripped the ball out of Theo Jackson's hand yesterday. And so I'm just interested to see how he comes out, because I don't think that we've really seen that. And maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know. But I just don't think we've seen that really aggressive side of Johnny Munt that we have seen this year at training camp. And I'm interested to see how that transfers over to the field when it comes to a preseason game like this, and he's kind of in that weird spot too, right? Where he's like the number 3, but he's kind of going into the season as the number 2, but then there's still opportunity for him and there's things to prove for him. So I think for me, it would be, obviously, like I said, you want to look at the quarterbacks, but if we're not talking about the quarterbacks, I would say I'm interested to see what Johnny Munt does out there on the field against a team that's not his own. So that would be my player to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. I think on offense, you have so much returning from last year, right? Really, the only new thing is the quarterback, and that's the most important position. So we're watching J.J. McCarthy like a hawk. But what I'm really more intrigued by is the defense because there's so much new. Are we going to see different things schematically with this new personnel? Grenard, new. Tillery, new. Van Ginkel, new. Dallas Turner, exciting rookie. Blake Cashman, Camu Grugier-Hill, Shaq Griffin. All these guys are new pieces on this defense, which has turned over a lot. And all of these positions, I think, have battles for the backup spots. We have no clue what that interior rotation is going to look like. We have no clue who the backup linebackers are going to be. We have no clue, how they're going to fill in their depth at the cornerback position because of all the injuries and issues there. So I think the defensive side of the ball holds the most uncertainty and therefore the most intrigue. Whereas on offense, you kind of know what you have. You've got an entrenched, top 2 running backs, top 2 wide receivers. Tight end is interesting, like Julius said, because of the Hawkinson injury. You've really got 4 guys battling between Tunyon, Oliver, Harry, and Munt. So that's probably my favorite position to watch on offense, but defense is really where my eyes are going to go.
Well, when you think about this team as a whole, though, the goal I'm asking you guys, when you look at, because I don't think we picked the first touchdown score. And I know we love to do the props when you think about the FanDuel bets and all these props. I know preseason props are dumb, but I'm gonna throw that out there to you guys. Who do we think is gonna? Because I know me and Sam did one with Ann Edwards in the game, and I got that one dead on the nails. I said 17 points. He scored 17 points. Appreciate you, Ann. I should have put money on you. But let's go with first touchdown score. We're going reverse order. So Sam, first touchdown score for this game.
First touchdown scorer. It's going to be a passing touchdown. It's going to be Jalen Nailor. I think that's the chalky answer. I think he's been one of the favorite targets. I don't think we're going to see Jefferson. I would guess not Addison. So Nailor's probably going to be in there a lot of the first half with the best quarterback. I think it's going to be Jalen Nailor.
Julia.
Ooh, I'm going to go. I think I'm going to. I would say I think Jalen Nailor would be my number one, but if I don't want to keep the same answer as Sam, I'm gonna go with an out there guess, and I'm gonna go Josh Oliver.
Nice.
Reggie.
I thought about that. I thought about Josh Oliver. I'm gonna go Aaron Jones.
Ooh, this is a tough one. Because the guy I'm thinking he's gonna be in the game later, but this is dumb. I think they're gonna score early. I kind of want to go Robert Tunyon, but I don't know how healthy he's going to be if he's going to be out there. Let me just pick my guy. I'm going to go N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry, they're working some packages in for him. He's moved up to the 2s. I'm going N'Keal Harry scores the first touchdown. We'll see. Watch it be like Ty Chandler or somebody or Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold on the QB sneak. He's going to score the first touchdown. But we always love those props. We'll see who pays it off, who wins. It might be an interception pick 6 by Byron Murphy or somebody. So or Josh Metellus. We just don't know. You never know. That's why the bets are fun, people. If you are watching and you want to know, you let us know, who do you think is going to score the first touchdown for the Vikings? Let's just hope the Raiders don't score the first touchdown at all. And it is a Vikings touchdown to start. We get the music, we get the horns, we get the drums, we get all the lights.
How about another 3-0 Vikings Raiders game? How about that?
Sam, not for preseason. That was the most, and the only reason I kept watching was because I had to work the post game show. That's the only reason. No, don't do that. Not the preseason. I need like a 40-30 game. I want something astronomically crazy. I want 50-yard field goals. We got to have some excitement for these fans in the first home game, because then we're not going to see them for 2 weeks, and then we don't see them for another week because they go to the Giants, and then they come home and they have the 49ers. So, Sam, you got to leave the fans with something to get ready for this 49ers game.
Fun fact we talked about on the football party yesterday. Guess when the last time the Vikings won a preseason game was? This will blow your mind. 2019.
Reggie
is correct. Did you look that up, Reg, or did you have that one just sitting in the holster there?
It was kind of in the holster. I looked it up before, but yeah.
Yeah, that 5 years. They haven't won a preseason game in 5 years. That's mind-blowing.
That is crazy. I know Kevin O'Connell takes it. I know Zim never took it serious though. That was why. I know Kevin O'Connell feel like takes him a little bit more serious, but maybe he doesn't care. Maybe, and we know early on, like you said, he's never had to really play the starters. He kind of came in and had Kirk Cousins. He kind of came in, had Justin Jefferson. Like there wasn't much he needed to do when he first got here with Adam Thielen, those guys. So now I think we're going to see a little bit more urgency with his offense and really trying to get these quarterbacks going to say like, look, this is the pace we need to play at. And also I think for Sam Darnold to show JJ McCarthy, here's the pace that you're going to have to play at. And this is what the fans want to see, because practice is practice, and whatever, you can look great in practice when nobody's trying to come at you. But when this speed picks up and when these are live bullets, can Sam Darnold look good, or is he going to look like Sam Darnold with the Jets? And that's the question that the entire world, Jeff Schwartz came on. He seems to think we're going to see JJ McCarthy sooner than we think. So, hey, like, and I've talked to a bunch of people nationally, and a lot of people for some reason are leaning. And Sam, you remember Jeff said that, like the Sirius XM crew, they all were thinking college sports. They were all thinking, oh, JJ, he's never, what did he say? He never messed it up for the Michigan.
His job was to not mess it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not great when you draft a guy that early in the draft. So can he, sit back, learn, and then come in and actually be a killer? So, but anyway, we got to move on because there's more stuff to talk about on the show. We got more Vikings topics coming up. We got more Ant-Man, come on now. And then, of course, Olympics. There's been some great Olympic moments. I know I have my moment, and mine is more internet worthy because I'm petty. I love the pettiness of the internet when it comes to the Olympics, and some of the pictures that are getting out there on the internet about the Olympic stars together. I'm not going to say who. We'll talk about that picture in a minute, but we'll talk about all that and much more coming up next after a word from our sponsors.
What a great tease by Ron. We're brought to you by Game Time today. I'm looking at the Game Time app right now. They're an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, but they also work to get into NFL games. This is what it looks like on my screen right now. I don't know if you can read the fine print. There is a super deal right now. Don't hesitate. You can get $39 lower level Vikings tickets for tomorrow's game. $39 to sit lower level at US Bank Stadium, and you can get in the door for $14 and sit upper level and bring the family and have a great time watching some Vikings preseason football. The deals at Game Time are impeccable. They're spectacular. You can save up to 60% when you buy last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. You take the guesswork out of buying tickets because they have such great coverage. They have a lowest price guarantee and awesome deals constantly at Game Time. Take the guesswork out. Download the Game Time app like I did. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Well, Vikings, Raiders, we know the game's coming up, but 30 days away from setting this roster. And that's when I played, I like that format better. When I played, we started off with 90. They cut it down after the first game, first or second game, you had to cut it down. I forgot the number, maybe it was 75 or something like that. And then you had to get to 69 or 68 for those that are mature. I can't remember which was the number, but you had to cut it down. Julia, stop it. You had to cut it down to like 69 or 68. By that date, and then 56 got to dress and travel, and then I think only 49 were on the sideline fully dressed, and then you had like some emergency guys in case. But now it's 90 all the way through 3 preseason games, which is good and bad. And so we'll talk about that, but let's start it off with Julia.
Oh, I thought I wasn't even laughing about that. Okay. I thought
she's
younger than
smiling at the new cat. She's got Bo over there. We love Bo.
You guys are children.
Oh, you were laughing because we're old and you're young?
I thought you were saying like back in my day, That's what I thought you were saying.
Back in the 1900s, we used to cut it down.
That's not yet. That's what I was. Okay. Anyway.
And I'll explain that, people, though. When it gets to me, I'll explain why that was better. And some of these coaches are old and they liked it too, but we'll talk about that. What you got?
All right. Well, I think the question posed was from training camp, Has it made you more confident or less confident that the Vikings could win the division? If I'm being completely honest, we have zero reference for the Vikings so far. There's nothing that could tell us anything. I mean, besides maybe if you look at the Lions and think, well, the Lions are probably going to be pretty good again this year. Packers, I mean, Jordan Love looks like Jordan Love. Did I see something about him being injured the other day at practice, or did I make that up in my brain?
No, that was legit. I don't know if it's serious, but he definitely had a thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I'm just going off of what like we've observed at Vikings training camp every day, it's just like question marks still. And it's just we're gonna have to wait and see. And I know that's like the boring answer, but I'm not particularly confident that they can win the division, but I'm also not particularly not confident in what I've seen. It's not like they've been out there and just been a hot mess every single day. They've definitely got a process that they're sticking to, and it looks, when they're doing their 7-on-7 drills and things like that, it looks pretty evenly balanced between offense and defense, which I'm sure is what they would want right now. But if we're going off of like predicting the future for the NFC North, I would probably go with the Lions are going to win the North again. But I think we're going to get some questions answered, obviously, tomorrow with this preseason game. But if we're going off training camp alone, I mean, it's like when I'm watching JJ McCarthy, sometimes he has a good day, sometimes he has a not so good day. There's never anything that's like, oh man, these guys are terrible and don't know what they're doing out here. But yeah, I think if you pose a question like that, I guess I would say not particularly confident that they're going to win the North because there's so many question marks still about everything. That would be my answer to that question. I would say the Lions are the favorite right now, which is not surprising. I think they're probably everyone's favorite, but just because we don't really know a whole lot of anything. And the Vikings are really good at keeping everything locked down too, so that we are left wondering because they want everyone else to be left wondering as well. So yeah, that's probably where I stand on that question.
So I checked out how the market is trending on this. So at the draft, the Vikings were about plus 750 to win the North. That was worst of any of the NFC North teams. They're picked to finish last on FanDuel. They were about twice as long shots as the Bears, who got Caleb Williams. So since then, the Bears have gotten a little more likely to win the division. They're plus 330. The Vikings have dropped to plus 1,000 to win the North. They are now 3 times less likely than the Bears, according to FanDuel, to win the North. Lions are favored, Packers are second, Bears are third, but they're pretty tight. Vikings are way back. I kind of love the price. Like at 10-1 to put 10 down to win 100 on the Vikings to win the division. It feels like a good flyer, kind of low risk, high reward. And it all hinges on Sam Darnold's ability to play this thing out, be the quarterback for the whole year, not have a disastrous month of play. Because if you get to the JJ McCarthy stage, it'll be exciting, yes, but you're probably going to have some growing pains. Like I would be surprised if JJ McCarthy emerged and led them on a miraculous playoff run. I think that the path is that Sam Darnold plays the whole year and is very good, kind of like Geno Smith in his resurrection in Seattle. And the reports coming from camp are actually pretty encouraging on Darnold. It hasn't been perfect, but his ability to get the ball downfield in the hands of Addison, in the hands of Naylor, in the hands of Jefferson. He's not historically a great deep ball thrower. It feels like he's been aggressive and kind of in sync with his top receivers. That's the ticket. That's how you win the division, is if Darnold is as advertised in camp. Now, I'm skeptical about it. I don't love his resume. You just got to hope that surrounded by this much talent and this good of coaching, that he can be something he hasn't been. It's a long shot, but at 10-1, that's kind of a nice long shot that I wouldn't mind laying something on.
Yeah, so I just started watching Hard Knocks, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I don't know. I don't know.
That's why the Bears dropped in price. I get it now. Okay.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I think what the Bears are doing, especially considering that you have a coaching staff and a front office who are firmly on the hot seat. Like they've gotten a little bit longer of a leash than maybe some would maybe give. They've gotten a chance to draft number 1 multiple times now. They got their quarterback of the future. It's time to go. I think what they've done to surround them, to surround the young quarterback Caleb Williams with all that talent. I mean, throwing to DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, Roma Dunze, like, and the offensive line is improved as well. That defense, you got Jalen Johnson back there, and I don't know, man. Like I think the Bears are going to be much improved. I think them and the Vikings, they're going to be kind of battling it out a little bit for what position in the division. I'm not sure, but I do think that now with Jordan Love getting paid and him having that confidence now that he is the guy moving forward, I think that is just going to continue to grow his game. And that defense is tough. The offense is growing. Like, I think they're going to be much improved. We saw how far they went last year as well, just kind of surging. And the Lions, for Ron's sake, I think your Lions are going to be tough, but I do wonder about all the hype that they're getting. I do wonder. I wonder about the back end of that defense. Are they going to, be improved under Aaron Glenn? Or are they going to continue to just be, who they are? I saw Kirby Joseph mixing it up with Malik Neighbors in training camp a couple days ago, and he's still, Kirby Joseph. Like I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not sure. Jared Goff got his money. Amon-Ra got his money. I think the offense is going to be fine, but. When the hype comes, I think of that Eagles team when Vince Young was like, man, we got an all-star team. That Eagles team was trash that season. And there's nothing to say that they would take a step back talking about the Lions, but I'm just not sure. But I do think that they are the favorites. That being said, with the Vikings, just so many question marks, I think. And it starts, as Sam said, with the quarterback situation. The last time we saw Sam Darnold as a full-time starter, he was with Carolina, and it didn't look too particularly good. I remember going down to that Vikings game. No, that's a different one. The Vikings game when Cousins gamed them in overtime with KJ Osborne.
Yeah.
That game was pretty lit, but Sam Darnold was not the reason why they were necessarily in that game. And so I want to say that he took a lot of lessons learning from Shanahan last year with the 49ers, and he's going to, use that to, move into a different direction. Like if he has a Geno Smith type bounce back, I think that's the best case scenario for the Vikings. But nothing that he's really put on tape has really led us to believe that is going to happen yet, which is similar to what Geno Smith put on tape as well. So, you just never know. But if we're talking about getting to week 8, week 9 and a quarterback change, yeah, they're probably going to be bottom of the division. But one thing I am confident in is that the offensive line is going to be solid. They got a good run game with Chandler and Jones. So that's going to take a little bit of pressure off of whoever the quarterback is. And I do expect that pass rush to be really good with the new pieces that they brought in and the rookie with Dallas Turner kind of coming into his own as well. So there are some things to be optimistic about. I'm just not sure that you think that they're going to win the division.
Well, the one thing about the Lions is their schedule, and this is my opinion, the teams they're playing, even though they have some top teams, their schedule isn't super scary the way the league kind of rounded out. The Lions this coming season are going to play the Rams. I'm not particularly scared of the Rams. The Bucks, Baker Mayfield doesn't really scare me either. The Cardinals, yeah, they can walk through that. The Seahawks, probably a walk through there. Cowboys, tough matchup. Vikings, who knows? Titans, they're without their big back. Packers, another tough matchup. Texans, tough matchup. Jags, don't know. Colts, maybe. Quarterback's gonna matter. Bears, okay. Just give him some nail polish. He'll walk away. Packers, Bills, Bears, 49ers, Vikings. The Lions' schedule doesn't seem as scary as people are thinking when you win the division, what you're supposed to get. Because a lot of these divisions that won that would have pushed the Lions having a top team weren't great teams. The Bears, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. I talked to Stacey Dales about this at training camp. Not buying it at all. She is in Chicago. She covers the Bears, and some of the things she said about what she's seen being around the team, she said it's going to be very interesting to how it actually plays out and if it actually works. Caleb Williams kind of has a bravado. He carries a certain je ne sais quoi around him, but he hasn't been hit. He hasn't been, I love it, Reggie, French chef's kiss. He hasn't really had to do anything yet. And so what does it look like? Because he did that at USC. He had the same, like, man, I'm the guy, I'm him. And then when it all went bad, he was crying for his mom. And so is he tough enough to handle this media? The Bears media can get really nasty. Is he tough enough? Because they made Mitchell Trubisky feel like he was absolutely doo-doo. And so can he handle that media when it doesn't go great? Packers, I kind of like the Packers. I like Jordan Love. I like the way they've set this up year after year where Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, now to Jordan Love. The Packers just don't have a weapon. They don't have a Devontae Adams, in my opinion. And that's the only thing I think holding them back. They lost Aaron Jones, but they still have A.J. Dillon. So I'm kind of – Jeff Short sold me a little bit on the Packers, Lions, then Vikings, Bears. So can the Vikings win the division? No, I don't think so. It's going to take a lot to really get on top. But Case Keenum did it. So maybe Sam Darnold can do it. There were angels in the end zone. Maybe we'll have some angels in the end zone this year too. Because we know Stephon Diggs, there's no reason the DB from the Saints ducks his shoulder unless there's an angel on his shoulder saying, just duck down real quick. Like, there's no reason to do that. Like, just go hit him, take the penalty, and they're still not in field goal range. But nope, he ducked his shoulder, thought he was going to hit Stephon, and there was an angel in the end zone. So do I think they can win it? I don't know. Probably not. But I am leaning towards the Packers now. Like the Lions, I just feel like the Lions, like after that, like riverboat gamble against the 49ers and all the waving to the fans, I don't know, man. The football guys might be coming back to say, oh, okay, you think you did this. Let me show you what happens when you don't praise what really happened and you're not humble. I'll humble you. And so maybe that's where they're going. But it's time to jump into this Olympics because oh man, the cheeks of the fans in the Olympics, if they were US, they were tight. They were down 15 with 11 seconds to go in the third quarter. And when you're playing against pros, I don't know if you come back from that. And Steph Curry, that man was cooking. I don't know if you guys saw his meme with his mom. Give me my money. I hate that trend. It's so stupid. But Steph Curry, clearly he's telling somebody, give me my money. Because I got this. And LeBron, they just kept kicking on the ball. And that man made 9 threes. But, Reggie, what's going on with Ant in the Olympics? And what's coming up for this gold medal game?
Yeah, man, a rematch. It's like Debo said, yeah, Craig, this is the rematch. But, yeah, I'm excited for this. But it's kind of weird because, you know, here in Minnesota, we're billing it as Ant versus Rudy. But Ant didn't really see the floor in the fourth quarter. And then Rudy is not seeing the floor much at all. So not really sure when those two would actually be on the court much together, but that's neither here nor there. At least Ant is getting some minutes, unlike my STL guy, Jason Tatum, who apparently did something to Steve Kerr because my goodness, him and Halliburton just riding the pine. I don't quite understand it.
They sided with Drake over Kendrick Lamar. That's what happens when you and Steve Kerr's from the Bay. Come on now.
Well, I guess that's what it is. That's too bad, man. It's weird to me that Tatum and Halliburton don't see the floor, but Derek White does, who was a late addition to this team. That's so strange. And if you look at what Derek White does, maybe he's a better defender than Halliburton, maybe, but like Halliburton is straight energy and he can light it up. And you would think that what Halliburton provides on the team is much more than what Derek White could, but what do I know? I don't know what Steve Kerr is seeing. But at first, like, it just looked like the rotations were just off in that game against Serbia. And my heart was pumping because I'm like, are they really about to do this? Are they really about to lose this game? Down 17 at one point, down 13 to start the fourth quarter. And I got to the point where I was just like, stop shooting threes. And the moment that I said that, they kicked it to KD 3 and 1. Anthony Davis fell into his legs.
I thought he like broke his leg off. That was
I know it was
ball.
a little scary. I'm like, ooh, I'm sure all the Phoenix Suns fans were just like, oh Lord Jesus. But then and 1 on there. Then Devin Booker comes down, bang bang. Joel Embiid, incredible minutes, incredible shot making. He actually put the ball on the floor, play like a big, and instead of trying to be like Steph when Steph was already on the court. And then just the chef's kiss by the chef himself, the 3-ball, the layup. LeBron comes with the layup. 39 years old, triple-double in the Olympics, 16 points, 12 boards, 10 assists. That was just a clutch performance. This is Steph Curry. Think of how great Steph Curry has been to the game of basketball over the last decade or plus. This is his first Olympics experience, and he does that. And honestly, hasn't really had a big Olympics performance really up until yesterday. And he just turns it on, and they needed all 36 of those points. And so when they needed them the most, the 3 clutch superstars on that team showed up. Anthony Edwards had 2 points. Wasn't really an option down the stretch. Kerr just kind of stayed with the guys that was in there, and it worked. It worked, and they came back and beat Serbia. That would have been an incredible upset, a terrible loss, but they found a way to close it down and put Joker out. So I think this game against France is going to be a little bit more difficult than maybe some would have thought, because up until yesterday they were pretty much just walking through the Olympic play, and they finally got some adversity. I think it was good for them because they were maybe a little too lax. Maybe they need to learn that they need to start playing defense from the first whistle and not the fourth quarter whistle. Hopefully it matters to them a little bit more, because it definitely is going to matter to France playing in front of their home fans. And I think that game is just going to be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about Anthony Edwards, I was hoping, Rudy, because I wanted the Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol moment. Like I wanted Ant to, because Ant didn't seen that. LeBron them then talked about it. They in the hotel now talking about it. Like, yo, you know what Kobe did? Like, hey, let's put Ant in. If Rudy's out there in that first play, hey, let's see if they run some type of pick, run through his chest, Ant, like set the tone. But I don't know if Ant would do that, but I would love it. It would be.
I don't know if Tim Connolly would like that too much either.
But you know who would do it? Jason Tatum, because Jason Tatum would do anything that he's seen anybody else do, just to get on social media. So if he wants that,
lay off my guy, man. Lay off my guy. Goodness gracious!
Like Jason Tatum go run through Rudy Gobert or Wemby, and everybody gonna be like, dude, that's not even your teammate. Like Kobe wouldn't do that. That's just rude. Like, what are you doing? Like everybody, all both teams stop. Like, we know what you're doing, Jason. Stop it. Stop trying to mimic Kobe. You're not Kobe. Take the t-shirt off. But anyway, Julia, Olympics, Ant versus Rudy, Wemby, gold medal game. Thoughts?
It's at 2:30 tomorrow, right?
Think so.
Yeah, the Vikings game's gonna mess
for
with
the Vikings.
Well, I mean, you know how it is though, Julia. They're gonna have it on this big screen.
I'm gonna have it on my computer. We'll be sitting there watching.
Okay, well, I'll come sit by you then. They're going to have it on the big screen at some point. They're going to send us updates because there's nothing else to cheer about. Like, who cares if the Packers are losing or if we don't care about NFL scores. I'm guessing they will show some maybe Olympic moments even. I would hope. I mean, if I'm a smart stadium Vikings person, I'm going to show some Olympic highlights just to get the fans cheering. Like, just show the flag. Like, come on now. Like, do something. But so show Simone Biles doing a flip 12 feet high. Do something tomorrow. But yeah, Drew, what do you got?
I mean, Reggie wrapped it up and put a bow on it, but I will share my favorite meme from yesterday that I saw. It's that video, you know, the commercial that has Lil Yachty and Drake in it, and they're like looking at a computer, and Drake comes over to help Lil Yachty, and Lil Yachty goes, "Oh,
Oh yeah, like the
And
old
they-
person type thing. Yeah.
yeah," and the caption was Steve Kerr when he realizes he could put all his best players in at one time. And I thought that was pretty funny. But I was out on a prep shoot for the whole game basically, so I didn't get to watch any of it. Just got the recap from Reggie when we got back, and apparently there was a whole watch party in the sports department. But yeah, we'll be watching tomorrow when we're up in the press box at the game. Expectations, I mean, the expectation always as an American is to win gold. So that's what obviously I'm hoping for. I think they can get it done. It's the Avenger squad, right? Team USA.
The Revengers.
I think maybe yesterday's game was a really good wake-up call for them, and now they're just going to crush tomorrow. That would be my prediction.
Guess the spread on FanDuel. Anyone?
The spread for this game?
Yeah. Guess the U.S.-France spread.
15 and a half.
That was yesterday's, wasn't it?
Well,
I'm going to go 9.
9. Reg, what do you think?
12.
Ron nails it. 16. 16, which feels high to me. They've been overestimating like every game.
It's a sucker bet though.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like at this point, FanDuel smart, it's a sucker bet because other than Wemby, and I haven't looked at the French team much. Was it Fournier? Is he on that team too, right?
Fournier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fournier, Wemby, what's his name? Rudy. Who else do they have?
Nicholas Batum.
Yeah,
I mean,
Batum is a veteran.
But come on, I'm not putting him
not
in
a lot
there.
of NBA, not as many NBA guys.
And that's why they're doing that, because if you think about true scores, Serbia actually had, and they still gave them a high one, but like Serbia had Jokic, and they figured like the guys we named, I mean, other than Wemby, they're not bucket fillers. Like Rudy's not a bucket filler, he's not gonna. So I just think they're overdoing this, the superstars the USA team has. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah, 15 and a half though. 16 points. That's I'm taking the under. I would take the under on that.
I would also take France to cover. I think Julia's probably right that like maybe this is the one scare and the US will play all 4 quarters against France and handle business. But I love that it's a road game. I mean, I love that France's stands are going to be out of this world. And keep in mind too, they beat Germany, who was a world champion team, by the way. They beat Germany in the semi with Wemby having a super offensive night. I think Wemby was 4 of 17. So if Wemby gets cooking, look out. I'm not going to overlook France. Maybe Rudy's been saving up for this game. I mean, I have a hard time believing that he's going to be held out for any reason in a gold medal situation. Like, I think that if they want him in there, I think he's going to be in there for this game. So I'm not sleeping on France. I would definitely take France to cover and give the U.S. a good contest.
That is interesting. And so when you think about this, when you look at where this team is, Ant versus Rudy, I already kind of gave mine. I want to see an Anthony Edwards versus Kobe moment. Like I want to see Anthony Edwards run through Rudy Gobert's chest. Don't break the finger, but just run through his chest, set the tone, maybe a little bump, and then look at him. Or an Ant through the lane, dunk contested by Rudy. I mean, that's what, I mean, Minnesota can market that everywhere. I don't know what company, but some company would figure out a way to market an Ant dunk on top of Rudy or an Ant do anything like run through Rudy's chest. That's the moment everybody wants. But when everybody knows SiriusXM is a proud partner of Locked On Sports Minnesota, you just download the SXM app, just search SXM on the app market, and you can get all of the SiriusXM radio content. I mean, there's other radio stations on the app too as well. You just have to, terms will apply, so make sure you check that out. But I know for me, I love SiriusXM radio. I love to listen to old school R&B, so I get all my fill of Keisha Cole. I get, Missy Elliott pops up on there, like 47, 48, those channels. Man, if you grew up in the 90s like me, trust me, you are going to love the SXM app because you get all your radio stations on the go. And I mean, come on now. I'm tired of mumble rap. Give me something I can understand, because I know exactly what Biggie was telling me. I knew exactly I knew what Usher was going to do when it was 7:00 on the dot. Like, I knew that. These other guys, I have no idea what they're saying. But make sure you guys also, you can get the Twins Hometown Broadcast. Just search Twins on the SXM app. Now it's time to jump in our last topic, but we'll be back with this, because now I got to pay off the tees with my it's not paparazzi, because these are posted pictures, so this is not a paparazzi moment, but it's very interesting when you go into the comments of some of these NBA players with these pictures they're taking on the road with these Olympians. We'll do it all after a short break. Sam, take it away. Favorite Olympic moment of the week.
This has been maybe my favorite track and field meet in the Olympics in my lifetime.
Yes.
If you like Team USA, it's been an electric factory.
Yes.
The men have medaled in every single track event, including the distance, which you wouldn't usually expect. Comebacks, photo finishes. US has had like 2 people on the podium in a lot of these races. World records set yesterday in the 400-meter hurdles. But the 2 races that stand out, number 2, Quincy Hall, coming back from 4th in the final 100 to win the 400-meter gold, and he was dying for the final 10 seconds. Gritted teeth, lost his form, stumbling his way past world championship level competitors to win gold.
Yes.
Insane. That's my number 2, but I think my number 1 is the mile. Cole Hocker, a 20-1 or in some places 30-1 underdog in this race. Like, think about those odds on FanDuel. Cole Hocker beating the defending gold medalist and the defending world champ in a foot race to the finish, taking the inside path and winning gold out of nowhere. Those 2 races had me on my feet, running up to the TV, freaking out. Incredible stuff. That's my best of the week. Ron, what do you got?
Ooh, so my best of the week, I'm petty. I like the pictures. Like, seeing Devin Booker with Suni Lee, it fits. And so people were like, "Oh, is she dating Devin Booker?" Of course not. She's dating the dude from USC. But it's just funny how every time an NBA player or a track guy takes a picture with a girl, it's like absolutely like, "Oh, whoa, I bet they're in the village." Like, but the funniest though was they didn't expose what the girl, I forgot what country she got kicked out of the Olympic village for inappropriateness or something, and she actually didn't. It was a fake rumor. And she had to go on social media and say, "I didn't get kicked out." But she didn't say she wasn't being inappropriate. So that's what was funny. It's like, so people are like, "Well, were you inappropriate though?" Like, she was like, "I just didn't get kicked out. I didn't get kicked out." So, but I'm guessing it has something to do with social media and some other stuff, because she's a swimmer. So you can kind of guess what people were posting and doing stuff. But yeah, people were like trying to say like some of the things people are wearing or doing. Like, you gotta represent your country well. But she wasn't kicked out. So I just love the pettiness of some of the stuff of how it's grown-ups, but people are still being petty. But it's also gonna be cool. I don't know if it's happened. I don't think it's happened yet. But the 16-year-old kid, he's gonna run in the 4x4. So he's gonna be the youngest male to run in the Olympics. And so that's gonna be fun to watch him run the 4x4. It hasn't come up yet, so maybe I'll say that for next week's favorite moment. Another one, of course, was the comeback. So that was for me. Reggie.
Quincy Hall gold grill. That was dope. That was just dope. Like, he did all that with the gold grill in. Like, he was ready to win. That was what the grit was. He was like, "I got this grill in. I can't lose." And so that was good. And then the GOAT, the absolute GOAT, Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni. Are you serious? Like, she literally left everybody back there.
Yeah, she's dope.
That's it for me.
Also, Grant Holloway hurdling just looks
electric.
Spectacular.
Electric.
He's not doing the same sport as the other one.
No, like, he just. I was gonna say that too, but like I had to give love to the queen. But yeah, Grant Holloway coming back from silver, getting gold in the hurdles was
with
electric.
The lean was crazy.
Yes, and shout out to Kenny too.
And Julie, you haven't gone yet, right? We got you last.
Yeah.
What you got?
I am such a huge fan of Tara Davis Woodall and Hunter Woodall, and her winning gold in the long jump. Yes, was that yesterday or was that the day before?
Yeah, that was yesterday. Yep.
Yesterday. Yeah.
I've been following them for so long, and just their journey together and everything. It was just and she's just seems like such a ray of sunshine as a person. So very cool to see her do that and then put on her American flag and cowboy hat and celebrate and everything. So it's cool to watch someone's journey and then see them do something like that. So that's probably my favorite.
Well, that'll do it for us today on Locked On Sports Minnesota and the Friday Roundtable. I'm Ron Johnson. That's Reggie Wilson from Care 11, Julia Daniels. Make sure you guys check out Reggie every night. I watch it, Reggie, after the Olympics. I see Reggie pop up. I heard Reggie Wilson's up next. He's going to break down. So I listen to Reggie after all the Olympics. So Reggie and Julia, I always hear a little bit of Julia's out at training camp or Julia's. So check it out on Care 11. Reggie and the team does a great job. And for more Olympic coverage, make sure you guys check out NBC and Care 11. You can get all your Olympic coverage as well as on Peacock as well if you're on the go out at Farmers Market. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, people. So if you're at Farmers Market and you still want to get some Olympic coverage, check the Peacock app. It's on your phone. You can take it with you on the go. And then that's Sam Ekstrom, the producer, who without him, we wouldn't be able to be here. So appreciate you all. Have a great weekend, people.